Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm back, man, for another video series as promised. I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for spending this time with me and giving me an opportunity to share some things with you. Today is going to actually be day one of me teaching you everything I know in terms of, in the world of business. I'm going to start and we're going to go literally from A to Z. So I'm really excited for you guys. I can promise you that every single video you're going to learn something. It's going to open up some different chamber in your mind. If you think about, so let's look at it like this, right? I'm the type of guy that the stuff that's floating around in my mind, I mean, it has to be information that's useful, right? I don't want a bunch of things just in my head. I don't like people, renting space in my mind for free. So anything that I know or anything that I transfer over to you is going to be something that's actually meaningful and impactful, right? I'm not going to just share a bunch of things with you so when you go to, parties or hanging out with your friends or whatever the case may be, you've got all this fly stuff to say to them. No, anything that I teach you and everything that I'm going to transfer over to you from this moment forward is going to actually be something that you can use, right? It's actually going to be a piece to the greater puzzle of your life that we're getting ready to build right now today. So we talked about what separates you from a Fortune 500 executive, right? And that's the 3,000 words. There are 3,000 words currently in his vocabulary that are not in yours. Maybe you have some of them, maybe you don't have them all, but the point is that he's able to put those words together to string his ideas out for the purpose of his staff or his people or for the betterment of his company and moving forward. So we're going to start today, and the first thing that I want to teach you guys about is mental models. Again, mental models. So you ask, well, what is a mental model? A mental model is just your idea of how something works in the world, right? We have, in your mind automatically, creates mental models. So if you think about, let me give you an example. So let's say you go to your home, right? And you've been living in this house for a year, and you take out the key, you stick it in the keyhole, you turn it right or left, whichever way unlocks the door for you, and the door doesn't open, right? Well, instantly you would become confused about that. Like, what's going on? I put the key in, I turned it, and the door didn't open. Well, that's what your mental model is. That's your idea of how your door works, right? Or let's say you were to get in your car and you stick the key in the ignition, you turn the car on, and you put the car in reverse. And when you put the car in reverse, you look over your shoulder, expecting for the car to move forward. You hit the accelerator, the car moves, expecting the car to move back. You hit the accelerator and the car moves forward. As a result of that, again, you'd be confused because that's your mental model. That's your idea of how your car is supposed to work, right? Well, business works the same way. You have mental models about how certain businesses are supposed to work. The problem with that is that once we start creating our own business, that mental model has to be pretty accurate in order for you to be a success in that particular business or in that particular field of business. So it's so important for us to be able to check our mental models against other mental models or individuals who have ideas or concepts about that particular business or how that business works. It's so important that you do that. Why is it important? I'm going to tell you why. When I first started out in business, I didn't know anything, right? I just thought you go and, get a business license and you have some idea, and whether it's a barber shop or you want to open up a restaurant or, some Fortune 500 company, right? And you get your licenses and you go find a space and you go buy the things that you need to operate that particular business, and then boom, you're in business. There were so many things that I didn't know. That was my mental model of how businesses worked. And of course, as a result of that, as I'm sure you guys can imagine, I failed horribly. Right? I lost so much money. I pumped so much money into different businesses because I just didn't know. I didn't know anything about business. So I made it my mission to learn every single thing there is to know about business. I made it my mission to study some of the greatest minds. I've got a lot of buddies of mine that are Fortune 500 executives. I've got buddies of mine that own casinos. I've got buddies of mine that own sports teams. I wanted to know, what is it that you guys know, right? And I studied every book on business. anything that you can think about that you can do, from business seminars, I developed a healthy obsession, if you will, for just wanting to know and learn everything there is to know about business. Here's the thing. Every business gets created twice. I didn't realize that. Every single business that you've ever seen, witnessed, been a part of gets created twice. First in the mind, second in the physical. So the business will ultimately be a reflection of your greatest weakness, not your greatest strength. Think about that. The business that you create is going to be a reflection of your greatest weakness, not your greatest strength. If it was going to be a reflection of your greatest strength, every business would be a success. Think about it. Every business would be a success if the business was a reflection of your greatest strength. I'll tell you how it's a reflection of your greatest weakness. So if you are the type of guy or girl that likes to go out and party all night, you don't get home to 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever the case may be, that's going to show up in your business because that's a weakness for you, right? That's something that if you're doing it consistently, it's going to show up in your business. If you abuse drugs, it's going to show up in your business. If you abuse alcohol, it's going to show up in your business. I tell people this all the time as far as, business partners of mine. There's usually one thing in life that will stop a person from reaching their highest level of potential. Some weakness or something that they have that just holds them back. And it's something, and it's different for every single person, right? But there's usually something that will keep a person from reaching their highest level or their greatest level of potential. So when I say a man's strength is to know his weaknesses, like I said in the video prior to this one, I'm so serious when I say that to you because it's so important that you understand what your weaknesses are. And all your weaknesses that you have, if there's something that you can't convert into strengths right now, is it something that's going to hinder me from being a success in business? Currently in the United States, there's 27.9 million businesses in operation right now today. 540,000 businesses get created every single month in this country. So what's the likelihood that those businesses that get created every single month, the 540,000 survive? A fraction above zero. This is why it's so important that you understand your mental model, and I'll put you in a position and I'll align you with the individuals, if I don't do it for myself, that aren't going to charge you anything, that you'll be able to take your idea and say, once I teach you everything that you need to know, to be able to take your idea and say, is this a good idea? What do I need to be doing? Who can I bring in as a buffer? Who has a comparative advantage over me in this particular field of business? What are the things that I need to know so that I don't become a part of the businesses that are failing out there? Makes sense, right? So one more time. So your mental model is just your idea or concept of how things work in this world or how businesses work in this world. So what we're going to use is, for me, and what's going to give you the opportunity or give me the ability to get you to a higher level faster in terms of what you know with business, is I'm going to use something that's known as the Wormhole Effect. We're going to also use accelerated learning techniques. And with accelerated learning techniques, it's going to give you the ability to learn things faster, absorb more information, be able to assess situations, a lot quicker, and things of that nature. So when you think about the Wormhole Effect, these are my pens. I'm sorry I don't have better instruments, and I'm sorry I didn't shoot some super high quality video, for you guys like I did, prior or previously on with my YouTube channels. But it's one of those things where I'm at right now is I just want to get the information out to you guys, right? I don't want to trick you and fool you with a bunch of, some super fancy page, and I'm not even talking about anything. My thing is that I'd rather shoot this in the basement somewhere where, I can just focus on getting you guys the information, because at the end of the day, that's what you need. I need the information. I need to figure out how am I going to, I'm watching your channel. How am I going to make money? How soon can I make money? That's what you should be focused on, right? So, Wormhole Effect. This is the technique that I'm going to use to transfer this information over to you. Okay? So, the way that the Wormhole Effect works, excuse me, is that everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. In business, right? It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, the beginning is important. The end is important as well, right? How you finish. But more importantly is what happens here in the middle, because these were, all the mistakes that I've made, the failures, all the years and years and years of research, all the studying, all of that information is concentrated right here in the middle. So in order for me to get you from start to finish fast, we take out the middle, right? All of the mistakes that I've made, my failures, the bad mental models about, how this business was supposed to work, or how this, everything, put it like this, every mistake that you could possibly make, I've made, some of them 2 or 3 times. So it's, so where we are now is that I don't want you to have to make the same mistakes I make. Now I can start a business from A to Z, and there's a high probability that that business is going to be a huge success, right? It's kind of like, becoming an alchemist, in that, everything you touch just kind of, turns to gold, metaphorically speaking, or you reach what's known as your ivory power. And your ivory power, there are certain individuals in this world that have reached their ivory power. That means that whatever they try their hand at, they just are more likely to be successful than not. So I've kind of reached that ivory power. I've kind of reached that level of becoming an alchemist, or understanding alchemy, and that, I just research things more. I'm more focused on how the business works, why the business works, and how much money can I make by applying this time and energy toward this particular business. So with that being said, we're going to apply the wormhole effect, and you have to understand that a collection of my mistakes made me smart. But it was the collection of my experiences that gave me wisdom. That wisdom I'm going to pass over to you. Have a good evening.